Today we'll be talking about cases of animal heroism that led to saving a person's life. From an unlikely friendship to an animal saving a young girl from one of the deadliest disasters in modern history. Here are animals that saved human lives. Number 10. Rooster saves man from a broken heart. Dave Cox was going through a tough part of his life, perhaps even the toughest. His dog named Cort had just died and he was feeling extremely down and depressed. He knew he needed another companion, but he knew in his heart that he wasn't ready for another dog. So he went to a feed store and bought Sammi the Rooster, who was only about 3 days old at the time. The two have actually been together ever since then, and David couldn't be any happier. The two have been seen surfing in Georgia, snowboarding in Colorado, at the Mexican border in El Paso, Texas, attended the Kentucky Derby, and even stopped at the Canadian border. If you're wondering why the pair didn't cross borders, the answer's simple. Sammi doesn't have a passport, the dastardly little chicken. If you want to see the happy pair in action, check out the Instagram at Sammi Chicken and see what they're currently up to, along with 42,000 of their followers. Number 9. BintiJois' motherly instinct. In a 1996 incident at an Illinois zoo, a 3-year-old boy fell nearly 20 feet into a gorilla enclosure. This is after he slipped away through his mother and climbed through the barrier. In normal circumstances, this definitely would have had a tragic outcome, but not that day, because that day a gorilla named BintiJois was on the scene. The gorilla, upon seeing the plight of the helpless boy, carried the boy to safety and kept the other gorillas at bay, all the while carrying her own child on her back. Experts now think that it was her motherly instincts that prompted her to protect the boy. Video shows the boy lying on the ground before BintiJois gingerly picks him up around the waist, carrying him to a door where rescuers waited as a crowd looked on. There were 6 other gorillas in the exhibit at the time as well. BintiJois, whose name means Daughter of Sunshine, continues to live at the zoo, and because of her act of heroism, is quite the international celebrity even today. Number 8. Living fire alarm. Local Australian Anton Nguyen was sleeping in his house in Brisbane, Australia, when he was suddenly woken up by a loud bang, quickly followed by panic yelling from his pet parrot, Eric. Anton woke up and almost immediately smelled smoke. So, without even looking where the smoke was coming from, he grabbed his pet bird and bolted down the stairs. He looked back and saw flames, so he exited the house as quickly as he could. Firefighters were on the scene at around 2 a.m. to put out the flames. Anton and his bird were uninjured, but things would have been very different if Eric hadn't made the racket to wake up his owner. Needless to say, Eric had a few extra parrot treats after all this. Number 7. Lifeguards protected by dolphins. Lifeguard Rob Howes, his daughter Nikki, Karina Cooper, and Helen Slade were swimming 100 meters out to sea at Ocean Beach. They were just minding their own business when 7 bottlenose dolphins sped towards them and herded them together. This odd behavior started when Helen started to drift away from the rest of the group. When she was about 20 meters away, a dolphin swam straight towards them and dived a few meters in front of them. The pod was clearly trying to keep the group together, as if protecting them from something. Sensing this odd behavior, Rob dived and he was shocked at what he saw. A large great white shark was circling below the group. He saw the shark glide around in an arc, clearly targeting 2 of his companions, and he was absolutely terrified and didn't know what to do. And really, what can you do in that situation? Well, the dolphins knew what to do. They went ballistic. They were swimming around frantically, keeping the group in a tight circle, all the while beating the water with their tails and fins. They were trying to either confuse or chase the shark away. They kept at it for an entire 40 minutes, successfully keeping the shark at bay. Number 6. Playing dead to save a life. Playing dead is the oldest trick in the book of animal tricks. While it's used mostly to entertain, this is one instance when it was used to actually save a life. Lulu is a pot-bellied pig owned by Joanne and Jack Altsman. The bond between her and Lulu became so strong that when Joanne suffered a heart attack, Lulu tried everything to save her life. First, she forced herself out of the doggy door, which was far too small for her, causing bleeding abrasions on her belly. Once outside, she stood at the side of the road, waiting for cars to pass by. And when no one was stopping for her, she did the only thing that she could, lie in the middle of the road and play dead. And actually, it worked, partly because she was bleeding from the belly. Finally though, after 45 minutes, a motorist saw her and stopped the car so he could check on the pig's wounds. At this moment, Lulu sprang up and went straight home. The motorist, still concerned, followed the wounded pig, and that's when he saw Joanne lying on the floor of her house, and that's when he realized what just happened. Lulu was considered a hero and became a minor celebrity. In addition to being awarded the Tiffany Gold Heroes Medal from the American Society of the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, Lulu graced the stages of both the Oprah Winfrey Show and David Letterman, where she grunted happily in lieu of signing autographs. Number 5. Saved by a dolphin. 36-year-old Grant Dixon was out fishing on his prawn trawler one day in 2002 when it hit a patch of rough seas and subsequently sank. Bleeding heavily, he clung for his life on the upturned boat, thinking of rescue and his 2 crew members whom he had feared had already drowned. Little did he know that rescue was only 2 days away, though. While floating out in the open water, the fisherman told reporters of a remarkable story. He described how a group of sharks had stalked him after his fishing boat had sunk. It was, he felt, only a matter of time before they attacked him. One shark in particular was moving closer and closer before the intervention of a pod of dolphins which moved in and scared the predators away. His ordeal lasted several more hours as he continued to drift in the Pacific Ocean. Thoughts of his family, he said, gave him the determination to survive. He was eventually rescued by a passing cruise ship almost 2 days after his trawler sank. If it weren't for the pod of dolphins, he wouldn't have lived to tell this amazing story. Number 4. Pride to the rescue. Back in 2005, a 12-year-old girl was kidnapped in Ethiopia. Her kidnappers were forcing her into a marriage that she, of course, refused. She was kept by her abductors for an entire week and beaten during her captivity. That is until a group of unlikely heroes came to her rescue. 3 lions came along and chased the kidnappers away. Not content with that, the lions stood guard until authorities found the poor girl. After that, the lions just calmly walked away, probably content in the knowledge that the poor girl was now safe and sound. Authorities said if the lions didn't come along, it would have been far, far worse for the girl. Number 3. Preventing suicide. Back in the year 2000, a young man named Kevin Hines tried to take his own life by jumping off the Golden Gate Bridge, and he almost succeeded if not for the assistance of a sea lion which just so happened to be in the area. Hines survived the impact but was gravely injured. At this point, he was questioning himself why he had committed this and was desperately trying to stay afloat. And then he felt a creature in the water and was scared until he realized this animal was bumping up and helping him with swimming. Although at the time he didn't know what animal helped save his life, he later found out from an onlooker's photo that the animal was a sea lion. Kevin Hines now travels the world to educate others on mental health and suicide prevention. Now it's time for the day's best pick. The photo shows a couple of big cats, probably leopards, fighting over something. A human, perhaps? More importantly, we can see this black dog about to enter the fray. So, is the dog trying to save a human life here? Well, we can't be certain. We're not even sure if the photo's real. What is real, however, is the next story of an animal saving a human life. Find out more next with number 2. The dog who cried lion. Asiatic lions have been a big problem in the city of Amreli in the province of Gujarat, India. In 2018, a group of 12 lions had surrounded a vehicle near a remote village in Amreli, preventing a woman who was about to give birth to reach the hospital in time and had to give birth in the car. Another incident, this time in 2017, a pride of Asiatic lions in Amreli blocked traffic on the Pipavav-Rajula highway as they were trying to cross over. And of course, these are the attacks. On July 21, 2018, a shepherd in Gujarat's Amreli was attacked by 3 lions while tending to his flock. However, the shepherd's dog was having none of that. He started going on a deafening barking fit, which caught the attention of a number of nearby villagers, who immediately ran to the scene to see what was going on. When the lions caught sight of the large group of people bearing towards them, they quickly retreated into the forest. Okay, yeah, technically it was the people who chased the lions away, but the shepherd still credits his dog for saving his life. Before we move on, do me a favor. My analytics show that only about 15% of you watching are actually subscribed. Come on guys, what's up with that? Can you guys please hit the subscribe button? You guys watch my videos every day anyway, so you might as well subscribe and keep up to date with every video we put out. Number 1. Almost swept away. During the tsunami that devastated Asia back in 2004, there were a lot of victims. However, there were a lot of heroes as well. Some of these heroes don't ask for accolades or recognitions, some of them aren't even human. But here's the heroic story of Ning Nong, a 4-year-old elephant who befriended an 8-year-old girl. Ning Nong also saved this girl's life from the raging tsunami. Amber and her family were spending a month-long vacation in Phuket, Thailand. During their stay, Amber befriended Ning Nong and would literally spend every day together, with Amber often feeding Ning Nong bananas or riding on his back. They were also together when the tsunami struck. The water quickly rose to Amber's shoulders, and the power of the tsunami was quickly overwhelming all the beachgoers, including Amber and Ning Nong. All Amber could do was cling to 4-foot Ning Nong, and instead of throwing her off, he climbed through the swimming current, up the beach and inland with her on his back. He only stopped when he reached a high wall about 400 feet from the shore, where he then wedged himself beside a stone shelf so that Amber could clamber up to safety. Which of these stories inspired you the most? Let us know down below in the comments, will ya? Also make sure to check out the channel's other amazing content. As always, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Later, everybody.